I decided to add this screenshot before the video because I might have not clarified it properly. So if you had to look here, see, on the 23rd of January, I had put the sell trade for Euro AUD, but then I broke even the trade the next day. So what it means to break even is you just take your stop loss, right? If price has moved too far from your entry, so like you're already in profit, you take your stop loss and you put it by your entry. So exactly by your entry, such that if price were to reverse, you'd get stopped out, but you wouldn't lose any money. So you take no loss or any win. So that's why here it says the profit is 0 0, because we never won anything and we also never lost. So if you to look at the second one where it says buyout, the buyout is when I got stopped out. And you see it says 0.00. I never lost any money, but I never gained. So that's what it means to break even. Just to clarify before the video starts. So like, subscribe, and yeah. Okay, so with this weekly recap, right, I'm going to start with Euro AUD. But Euro AUD previously, the market was about here, I remember. So the market was in this range here, then pushed lower. Then for my weekly analysis, what we had said was we're waiting for price to react from this zone, push lower, then we take an entry, right? So if I were to describe this real quick, right? When we did that, as you can see, we did react from the zone. We reacted from this zone, but at that time we had failed to break below the previous low, which was this one here. So if I were to zoom in for you, if I were to zoom into the range so you can see the candles themselves, you can see here that the candle was up, so we pushed lower here. We began making highs but inside this range, pulled higher, made this low, then broke above into our area. So initially what I was looking for price to take out this low, then pull back and then continue down. So since we never got that movement, we only swept this low here. What I was looking for was price to retest, break again, then look for continuation. But price immediately pulled and broke above, not broke, it swept the swing high. So that swing high which I had marked out earlier, it swept the swing high and just consolidated. So as you can see, when I saw the sweep of liquidity and a push lower, a sweep, then a push lower, what I looked for was a break below this low, right? Since it shows that like the buyers tried to push the price higher but failed to break above the swing high, it means that this area was a powerful area right here. So since it was powerful, if we broke below this low here, so for to mark it out, if we broke below this low, it means that we're ready to sell, right? So we consolidated throughout the week. Throughout the week, we consolidated, and then like yesterday, Thursday, we broke below this low with these candles here. So these candles broke the low. And if we were to zoom down to the 30-minute, so let me zoom down to the 30-minute here, right? By the 30-minute, as you can see, so if I were to use this tool here, as you can see, we have this supply area, right? This supply area that broke that low by the 1 hour. So if I were to zoom out again, so if I were to do this, you see this low here by the 30-minute. By 30-minute, we had this push down, this supply area which was left unmitigated, push lower, reaction, then broke below, right? When I saw this, I was like, okay, I think now we're ready to move down. So with that in mind, I looked to the previous structure to see if we had any unmitigated supply areas. So here, if you look closely, right, we do have this gap here, right? We have this tiny gap, right? We have this tiny gap here in the market and our supply area is below. But I still considered my supply area high probability because if we were to look closely, the overall order flow of this candle here, so this green candle that led to this push down was retested. So we retested this supply area, then pushed lower, right? So since we did that, this became my higher probability supply area, With that, if I were to just remove this, you can see that with these candles, we have relative highs, right? So if I were to remove this, you can see here, we had relative highs, right? Relative highs. And this was the high that was situated right below the supply area. So I remember this, right? We have this relative highs, we had a push lower. We also have this supply area above, which broke this low here. This low here after forming this sweep of liquidity. Since it shows that there are more sellers in control than buyers, I was simply looking for a sell. So I entered here, I placed a sell limit from this area, and my target was the swing low, right? So the 1 hour swing low. If I were to zoom back up, my target was this low by the 1 hour, and it was simply because by the 4 hour, if I were to go up again, what I was anticipating was I was anticipating for price to range, break below that supply, and then immediately pull back, like pull back within this range, then maybe turn down towards this supply area, this demand, sorry. But if you look closely, and if you're keeping up with the fundamentals, you can the euro the euro became stronger throughout the week. Ever since the US elections, the euro has been gaining momentum, right? So throughout this push, if you're looking at all the currency pairs relating to euro, you would realize that euro was pretty much, it was really weak, right? So a lot of prices were moving down, and majority of them we are looking for sales. So for Euro USD, we're looking for sales. For EURJPY at a point, we're looking for sales before we continue with buys. And for something like Euro GBP, we'd also be looking for sales, right? But for Euro GBP, since they're both um, close to the Europe continent, it really doesn't matter. All I'm trying to specify here is that I was anticipating sales, right, throughout this month. But then ever since this week, with all the news that had kicked in, the euro became stronger. So with that in mind, right, what I wanted to do was I wanted to just take price towards this swing low, sweep the low, then continue higher. That was my idea, right? But when news kicked in, so I at this time I was in profit, so I had about one to I had about one to I think 1 to 3. For to unlock this for a second, I had about 1 to 3, right? So what I was looking for was the sweep, take me out of this trade, and then push higher. But from this area, we reversed from this area, pushed higher. I didn't, but I didn't take this loss. I didn't take the loss. I actually had a break even. So if I had to just remove this for a second, if I had to remove this for a second, um, you can see that when we broke the low, we retested our supply, then we continue pushing lower, right, forming newer lows. So with that in mind, since we formed newer lows, I didn't expect price to break above this high. So this high here, I didn't expect price to break above this high. So I set a break even. So my stop loss was by my entry. So if price were to retest up there, I wouldn't lose any capital. So once price retested up, broke even the trade, and we had no loss but no win. So the only thing I can take out from this trade is that ideally everything was perfect, like everything was perfect. It's just the final push was not enough. So with the euro getting stronger, I didn't have that final push to take me out with the 1 to 5. So I was looking for the 1 to 5, but we ended up missing the trade, and the euro went higher because at about 10, around 10, that's when the euro news kicked in and pushed price towards my high. So we ended up not getting the profits here, but we didn't take a loss also. Then by EURJPY, EURJPY never took a trade here because price was moving too fast. So at the time, um, with our weekly setup, right, what we were looking for is, let me see, if you were to go down to the 1 hour, by the 1 hour, I remember I was looking for a break above this high here, right? So we're looking for a break above this high, then to take us a demand area towards the upside, maybe towards this high here. So my idea was that simple: break above, retest, push higher. But if you had to look, the supply area I was looking to join from was retested, so it became invalid. So this supply area was retested, so I was looking for price to respect this demand. Sorry, I meant to say demand. So this demand, I was looking for price to retest this demand, give me a confirmation, then push higher. But throughout the week, we are really bullish. So once we broke above that high, we pushed higher and higher and rarely came back down, right? We only came back down here, and that was like Friday when there was heavy news, right? So by Friday, what I was looking for, I was initially looking for price to give me a confirmation here, but it didn't, right? So we broke below this demand. So this demand definitely acted as in what? As inducement. So this was inducement. We tapped into this demand, pushed higher, then broke lower. But I didn't take this trade because it was early in the morning. It was about like 6, I think, like 4, 5. I wasn't awake. When I was awake, it was like at 7, so around here. So price pushed higher and we never got any entry. So now for this week, what I'm looking for is a simple retest, confirmation, then a push higher. So that's it for JPY. But I was still looking for buys even earlier, but now I'm definitely taking buys within this trade. If I get a confirmation here, I'm just going to take an aggressive buy from maybe the supply area that forms to, and then towards the swing high. We can aim for this swing high or the high of the 4 hour. So this high here. So out of the two, it's fine. If my risk to reward is above, ideally I want it to be around 5. My minimum is 3, but I think my favorite risk to reward is 5. So if you can get the 5, will be good. So let's say with this one here, if you can get a 5 with this one, I'm still solid. I still would like the trade. So that's it for EURJPY. Then if I were to zoom down for EURUSD, same thing also. Same thing for EURUSD. Um, Initially I was looking for sales, right? Remember we were somewhere here where we had that massive consolidation, but the push up, and I hadn't taken this entry because it was late at Friday. It was late Friday, and I didn't want to get hit by a gap. So we're lucky enough to miss this push up, but my idea was completely wrong. I think with the overall reversal, like price was ready to push higher, and with further analysis, we do know that there was a sweep of a low by the weekly time frame. So as soon as we swept the low, we got a morning star here, this morning star setup, and then we pushed higher with this engulfing. So the momentum is now bullish. So obviously, we'd be looking for buys. So with that in mind, right, what I was looking for a price to retest one of these supply demand areas, and we did get this retest, but it happened way too fast. So I think it happened about 5, and that's when Trump gave his speech. So when Trump gave his speech, I wasn't in the market because anything could happen at that point. But we did get this reaction here. We got this massive wick down, then a massive push to the upside, then we continued. And this week we only swept the low, we didn't really break it. And that's what I like about considering weeks as a sweep more than a break, because even though this was a sweep of liquidity, I wouldn't say we're now bearish within this, right? Or at the time I consider this a sweep of liquidity, a tap into the zone, and then a push higher. So what I was looking for, I was looking for a retest towards this demand area that formed, then a massive push up. So I was looking for something like this. So something like this, like a tiny trade, then stops below this candle here. It was one of these candles. So if I just zoom in, the stops was below the low of this purple candle. So if I were to remove this, the stops was below here, right? The stops was below here, and I didn't consider this massive wick because I consider that market manipulation. So it's not really like a valid wick. It is valid at the time, but the break below this low would have confirmed um bearish for me instead of thingy this green candle, this doji candle, because this happened right as Trump spoke, right? So I didn't consider that candle. So what I was looking for by the 1 hour was to take a trade from um that demand and then a push towards the supply. So like a simple 1 to 3. But we never got the retest and we just pushed higher and higher. So that was a missed idea, but like it's not really a big deal because I was not really looking for sell here. This actually caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting this massive push into the demand, then a complete rise towards the upside. So even though we never got the trade, it's fine. So throughout the next of this week, what I want is a retest towards this zone here. So maybe this zone, then the retest of this zone, confirmation, then push high up. So same old, same old. If we don't get a confirmation, we don't take the trade. So we could have taken this one also, but see, this one was a nice this one had a nice reaction, but we never really retested. So if I had to just fix this up real quick. So this one here and this one, so we had this push here, but we never really retested. So that's a shame. Even this one. So if we were to jump down to the 15 here, we would have missed the trade entirely. So that's the actual shame. Then let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. So by GBP, this is one of the currencies I added this week, but we never really got anything special. So I was looking at EURUSD and GBP USD because they looked identical, but I focused more on euro because it was the one I analyzed earlier. Then for gold, same thing. We just pushed higher, but we never failed. We never retested into this demand, so it was kind of useless. Then yeah, see you later. I think this week was pretty active. Like it was really active, but most of my areas weren't tapped in, and I was relying on Euro AUD, but we ended up pushing higher. Didn't lose, but we broke even the trade, but we also didn't win either. So the idea was not a complete failure because we did have this massive push. But I believe with news, if news wasn't here, I do believe price would have pushed lower, grabbed the liquidity, then pushed higher. But since news was there was enough volume for price to continue to the upside. So yeah, catch you later.